Hello everyone, welcome back to Real Reds Talk, an authentic football fan channel made in Manchester, and we have got some breaking news today coming out from quite a few reputable journalists, four in total over the past couple of days. I would probably say you've had Damarcio, Fabrizio Romano, Jacob Steinberg from The Guardian, and I think also The Times have mentioned that INEOS have finally made the decision to get rid of him. It's not absolutely confirmed, but you would think, Sam, the writing is certainly on the wall for Erik Ten Hag, from what it seems. How do you feel about all this news kind of circulating at the minute?
So reminiscent of Louis van Gaal, isn't it? Is it 2018, 2016? I can't remember what fucking year it is
Van
anymore.
Gaal would have been 16, I think. Yeah. 2016, 15.
It's so reminiscent, isn't it?
Yeah.
Poor finish in the league, which at the time we probably would have took now, because he finished 5th, did he? And then he won the FA Cup, and then literally while the game was finishing up, we knew Jose Mourinho was coming in, and we knew he was sacked. Like, he didn't even get to Monday, and it just feels very reminiscent of that. Like, the writing was on the wall with Louis van Gaal for ages because of the turgid football. Like, it was just people getting dragged there, so it just seems eerily reminiscent of that. And the more and more stuff I see, the more I start to think it's probably true. Like, when it was originally stuff like Damarcio, I was like, oh, maybe it's just one guy, but more and more places seems to be going with it, which makes me tend to believe that it might be the thing that's going to happen.
The weird thing for me was, I remember a couple of weeks ago, the way certain pundits, ex-players were talking about it.
Yeah, it's 180, isn't it? It's 180.
Yeah, really, really 180. Even before that, there was a bit where he was like, "Oh, I'm not sure if he'll stay," blah 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 blah. And I think it was after Gary Neville did the interview with Erik Ten Hag, and then after that, you had Keane, all the people on Stick to Football, coincidentally saying like, "No, I think they might stick with him. They might give him another year or whatever." Blah blah blah. The one thing that surprised me though, Sam, INEOS haven't done a great job of keeping stuff watertight. Well, obviously, like Omar Brada, for example, no one heard about that, and that was done. That's fine. But Dan Ashworth, the way that kind of situation's got a little bit sticky and messy.
Wilcox.
You've got this situation with the manager, which they're going to be fuming. Yeah, Wilcox as well. They're going to be fuming about this, aren't they? Surely before a massive game.
Yeah. I was watching The Brew on Paddock before we went live, and Steve Howson was saying the reason it's got out is because beforehand INEOS were just operating in silence and not telling anybody anything. They were keeping it between them, like Sir Jim, Sir Dave, and all that. And then as soon as they've told staff about stuff, and I think that was about a week and a half ago, which is when these rumours started, everything seems to be leaking and getting out there, which tells me there's leaks within the club and within the staff, and that's how it's got out. There's also talk of that Chelsea really want McKenna, and they heard about the conversations with United, because United kept it under the wraps and nobody knew, and then Chelsea have leaked it in order to get United to sort of take the foot first so they can sort of end up getting McKenna. I don't know whether I believe that or not, but that's the rumour that's going round. And then the other conspiracy theory is United are chucking all these names out to different people within the club to see who is the leak and trace back the leak to where they've come from. So you've heard Tuchel, you've heard Poch, you've heard McKenna now, De Zerbi. So there's the other theory that they're chucking these names out internally to see who's leaking these names. Again, whether you believe that or not, I don't know, but that's another thing. So I think there's a lot INEOS need to do internally to make sure this stuff doesn't leak, because there seems to be, anytime something goes on, it seems to come out, no matter what.
I think how the manager's feeling about all this as well, because obviously he'll say in press conferences, which he already has done, that, oh no, I'm focused on the game, I'm not paying attention to all the other noise, whatever. I don't care who you are. If this kind of stuff is coming out, especially from the journalists that is, Romano, Damarcio, and these guys are top tier for the majority of things. He's got to be reading it, hasn't he? He's got to be looking at it and seeing all the shit that's going on and kind of speculating and thinking, oh, actually. And then when that little bit of doubt starts to creep in someone's mind, that then affects you. Even your little things like preparation or how much motivation you have. I know he's like an ultimate professional, but you probably think it's going to affect him, wouldn't it?
You also got to think, we'll touch on this in the preview later tonight, but you've got to think as well, this is yet another, if you want to take the cynical view, this is yet another case of the players getting their way again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Players down tools, not playing, deciding, can't be asked, but all of a sudden a bunch of them have got fit for the final. interesting. I'll just leave it at that. And the manager's on his way out, so you've got to think they'll probably now show up in this final, won't they? Because they're going to be like, right, whoever the new manager is, I'm going to make sure I get a starting spot here. So they're probably going to show up in this final.
INEOS need to be as cutthroat with the players.
Absolutely.
In that sense,
Absolutely.
Summer.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they need to look at some of the big boys there and almost look at that behaviour like, oh, they can turn up in the final, but they can't turn up at an away game on a Monday night against Crystal Palace. Like, I don't want them kind of players at the club.
No.
Do you think it will affect the final? Just touching on that. I know we're going to do the preview in an hour's time or whatever with the lads, but do you think news like this could affect it, or do you think it's I
think none of us. I don't want to spoil people who are going to speak on the preview, but I don't think any of us were extremely confident going in anyway. No, to be honest with you. Yeah. So I think we're all expecting to lose this final, if we're being honest. So if we lost, would it be a shock? No, because even if this news hadn't come out, I still would bet on us to lose most part. So I don't think it affects it in that way. You might see, I think it could go two ways. You might see players just absolutely shit the bed because they know the manager's going, so they're just not going to play. Or it goes the other way. They go, right, the manager's going, next guy comes in, I'm making sure I'm going to be his guy, so I'm going to show up and play. So it could go either way, but I don't think any of us thought we were going to win beforehand, and I don't see any of us thinking we're going to win now. So,
well, let's go to the comment section then and see what people are saying, because you guys are the important ones in this. Obviously, the fans' opinions are like how you feel about it, this situation. Sadek Rahman says, in 18 months, we'll be talking about how the next manager will be sacked, yet some of the same players may remain at this club. Fantastic point. Rayanator says, shameful the way it's come out and the wrong decision, in my opinion. No manager gets us top 4 working under the conditions Erik Ten Hag had, and after all that, he was still only 9 points off Aston Villa. Apparently, according to Yanag Fjorshov, Erik Ten Hag was told of this before the Arsenal game. Can't imagine the morale in the dressing room. I know, it is messy, isn't it?
I bet the players are loving it. The players who wanted him gone, they'll be fucking well happy.
The ones that he brought in, like the Sandro and Anthony and these guys, will be like fucking devastated because they don't know the future when the new one comes in. But the ones who have struggled, or like Sancho, let's say, for example, who have been a little bit backlashy with him, probably looking at it thinking, I could return to United. You know what
Rashford.
I mean? Maybe Marcus Rashford as well. Yeah, and a couple others. Luca De Gabriel says, any manager that comes in now is not going to change the situation. If INEOS do want a yes man, then I'm not in for the long ride for future success. For me, it's either too cool or bust, but still shocked about this situation. We're going to discuss potential managers probably towards the end of the show. But in terms of Ten Hag and his future, Sam, you would like to think he's not going to be short of jobs, is he? We've spoken about the amount of clubs in Europe that need a manager. I mean, Xavi's just been sacked as well. I'm not for 1 minute suggesting they're going to go and get Ten Hag.
Hansi Flick's gone there anyway.
Seems like, but I'm talking like the amount of clubs that are available. What other clubs would take him, do you think, that are looking for managers?
The Bayern thing is Vincent Kompany. I don't think that's been announced yet, has it?
Yeah.
I know
if Ten Hag becomes available,
there you go.
Does that change?
It might change. So the Bayern thing is still up in the air. You'll have the Chelsea situation. I don't imagine he'll go to another Premier League team so soon. I don't think so. Can't see that happening. So Brighton and Chelsea will probably rule themselves out. The Juve job is technically still free. I know they're trying to get Thiago Motta, aren't they? So that's technically still there. Who was he going? Bologna. Maybe Bologna. Like, Bologna might be a good shout for him. They've done
I know they're in the Champions League, but do you not think that's the level below Ten Hag, potentially, after managing United?
He might just want a team where he can sort of with less pressure, less scrutiny, less people on there. And they've done really well. They've got decent players in their team and done extremely well. They've got Joshua Zirkzee in there. So he might want something like that. I know Ajax have just hired is it the Nice manager?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't imagine him going to Nice if INEOS also on it. Do you know what I mean?
INEOS,
yeah. I don't
just manage Nice.
I don't imagine that's going to happen. And then, is there any other teams that I'm missing?
So, as far as I'm aware, Brighton, Napoli.
Napoli might be a shout. Napoli might be a shout.
Yeah, potentially. I think that would be a decent option. I mean, we're speaking here like it's definitely going to happen, but just in case, if it
theoretically,
I do think the big clubs. I thought Barcelona. I know Hansi Flick strongly linked with him, and that's
he's signed. He's done. Oh,
is that definitely done?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Because I thought you got the Johan Cruyff link with Ten Hag coming up through Ajax. similar kind of style, I thought that maybe that would happen.
Bayern could still happen. Like if they get
Bayern,
wind, they might just go to company. You know what? We wanted this guy. So
he's turned around to them, according to reports. Again, this isn't concrete, but he's turned around and says he don't want to take the job because he wants to stay at Manchester United.
But if he loses his job,
like, how awkward is that?
Well, yeah, but Bayern are desperate though, aren't they? They tried to get rid of Tuchel, and then they went, "Oh shit, we can't get anybody. Do you want to stay?" And then Tuchel went, "Absolutely not." So
yeah, talk about a mess. I mean, I'm sure Bayern fans can kind of sympathise with us at the moment. I don't think it's a case of he's not a good coach. Again, I don't know how you feel about this, but I think it's just a case of INEOS. We always say when a new ownership kind of scheme comes in, they always want their own person, and they have a certain ideology and a certain way they want to go and take the structure. And obviously, Ten Hag doesn't fit into that. So, do you think it is a case of that? Like, it's not we don't like him as a coach, or we don't think he's tactically up to it. It's more of a case of this is the future, this is the line that we want to go down, and this has to be from top to bottom throughout.
It's definitely a case of that. Obviously, you've seen when any time a entity has took over a club, like if you look at recent history, City, Mark Hughes was in thing, they gave him a bit of time, didn't they? And then they went, yeah, you're gone, see you later. And then was it Mancini who came in straight after?
Pellegrini was it before Mancini?
No, Pellegrini was after Mancini, I think.
Was there?
Yeah,
it might have been Mancini.
And then obviously he won a title, didn't he, Mancini? So they made the right decision. Chelsea, I know that it's not the greatest comparison, but anytime they've taken over, they've got rid of managers and just flipped and flops and stuff like that. So, and then you saw it at Bournemouth as well. They had a big takeover. They got rid of Gary Cahill, even though he was doing pretty well, and they got rid of him. Gary Cahill. Fucking hell, my brain's fried. So they did it the same thing. So you could well see it happening the same way. So, but I think with Ten Hag, there's a couple of things. I think there's a lot of player power in there. And I think maybe INEOS think we're not going to be able to get rid of all of these stars, like people like Rashford, people like Bruno, people like that. They're not going to be able to get rid of these guys because they're the wages they're on and the big contracts and the age. So they're like, if these big players are not getting on with this manager, it's easier to cut the manager than it is to cut these players and get these players out because it'll cost us a fortune. I know it's going to cost money to get rid of Ten Hag, but there's that. I think, tactically, he's extremely stubborn, and Sir Jim Ratcliffe had that interview, didn't he, where it was like, we pick the playing style, we pick the philosophy, we do that. So maybe that doesn't match up to what they want to do. Maybe they want to go back. They
just want a coach, don't they? Pure coach who's just going to focus only on football.
Maybe they want to go back because I know Sir Jim spoke about United's roots and attacking football, counter-attacking Fergie fledglings and Busby and all that. So maybe that's what they want. And Ten Hag is like, no, I want this transitional style. So maybe that's something. And then the other thing I think is the amount of bad results and the rot within the dressing room and the rot within the thing. I think they just think it's going to take so much to get this back, and they'd rather just start afresh with a manager they can mould and bring up in their way, in their system, because he's already had a lot of control, Ten Hag. Like, he had all the transfer control, he had all the say, too much power, if you want my opinion. And then they've got to take that away from him, and then they're going to butt heads. So maybe they went, we just, like you said, we just want a guy who's like all right to work under us, focus on the pitch in his tracksuit doing the tactics and stuff, and we do all of this stuff. So I think it's a combination of stuff.
Well, of course, this is history repeating itself again, because you had Van Gaal, first season, second season, it's in a bit. Jose Mourinho, first season, second season, halfway through the third, it's in a bit. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, first season, second season, it's in a bit. And then Erik Ten Hag again, it's in a bit after the second season. After the first season was so promising. Yeah. So if that isn't an indication of how much we fucked up over the past 10 years, I don't know what it is. It's
the same as well. First season is always good under a new manager, and everybody's like, yes, we're going to get there, we're going to develop and stuff like that. And then it's
optimism,
always
to absolute.
Like, first season under Louis van Gaal, it was a bit boring, but you're like, okay, I can see what he's trying to do and see what he's trying to build.
Yeah.
And then it just went to tit. So Jose, he won trophies and he finished second, and you're like, okay, I can see like his thing. Back him in the summer, and he will win us a title next season. And we didn't back him, and he obviously chucked his toys out the pram. Ole, under the caretaker thing, what was it, a 14-match unbeaten run? We were just smashing teams, playing some of the best football I've ever seen, give him the full-time contracts, and then it just went tits up. It's just rinse and repeat, innit, man? Same shit, different day. This is how it's going to continue unless this new structure above us with INEOS and stuff like that is actually sound and know what they're doing. And it's just unfortunate that Ten Hag is coming to Manchester United at this point where this takeover has happened, and he's just a casualty of it. And I'm sure a lot of players will be the same. There'll be a lot of players who go in the summer who were like, oh, right, well, we're getting rid of them. So I think it's bad timing for him at the end of the day. But I hope they know what they're doing, because Howson said on the Brew, the clock starts ticking as soon as they get their guy in, whether it's McKenna, whether it's Tuchel, whether the clock starts ticking as soon as their guy comes in, because that has to work. Because you got rid of Ten Hag, who I would say most of us fans, ignore the Twitter people because they're idiots, but most of us fans are behind Ten Hag. He's definitely got flaws, definitely stuff we need to address, but we want the manager to succeed. We're not Ten Hag out, get rid of him, blah, blah, blah. And you get rid of him when the fans are clearly thinking this is a bad idea. Their successor has to work, because he's not going to get the patience, he's not going to get the time, because they've fired this manager and they've got somebody in, so he has to make a success quick. Because if he doesn't, like you said, in a year and a half, we're going to be in the same position, exact same position.
Also, as well, imagine the fucking pressure on the new manager coming into that job. Like you just said, like if McKenna's coming, let's say they do go and get McKenna, right? In all fairness to him, back-to-back promotions with Ipswich is super impressive. His style, I like the football he plays, is phenomenal. To get the players that he has up to the levels that he's got them to is insane. You have to be a good manager to do that. Yeah. But coming into Manchester United
different
under
gravy.
a new regime,
it's different
when
gravy,
you used to be when you used to be an assistant manager, and now you've got like the full mantle, you've got the public eyes that are on you, the scrutiny and sense. Just to say, like, you know, you're the guy who now is going to bring United back. It's like, I don't know. That is huge pressure for any man, even the most experienced ones. If Tuchel was to go in, or even Poch was to go in, you know, they've had failures before, so people will be looking at that and they'll be like, you know, it's not guaranteed it's going to be a success. And I've always said this about INEOS. INEOS aren't guaranteed to be a success if they come in. You know, the decisions that they're making so far have been pretty good. They've been all right. You understand it, but it's not guaranteed to work.
Look at Chelsea. They've spent $1.5 billion.
Yep.
Not really successful, is it? Not won anything. No. They finished, I know they finished above us, but 6th. And when you spent £1 billion and you've got players like Nkunku, you've got players like Nicola Jackson, like big players you've bought, and you finished 6th with no trophies and had a terrible season, doesn't guarantee success. Like, it doesn't guarantee success.
And then you sack the manager who actually turns things around and starts looking good. Like, that is a messy situation over there. So United and Chelsea.
Barcelona, same thing. Barcelona just continually turning managers over and expecting success, and they haven't really. I know they had the title under Xavi. Was it last season? They won this La Liga, but before that, not much. Not won a Champions League in forever. Not really been successful. It's been little bits here and there. Bayern, for the first time in, what was it, 12 years, 13 years, lost the title, and in the year before, they almost didn't win the Bundesliga as well. Like, Dortmund were one game away from taking that from them. So they're like, you can see it doesn't matter. Sometimes you can do all the things that you're supposed to do and you still don't succeed. Like, it just, it's never a guarantee.
I do think there has been a big, like, huge change in landscape over the past kind of 5 to 7 years, I'd probably say. You look at Barcelona, I know, like you said, they won a league title last year, but they are not the team that they once was. I mean, not even fucking close to it.
They were dominating football, European football, for about, what was it, about 8 years? Just every year, they were dominating it. Everybody wanted to play tiki-taka. Everybody wanted to face them. You had Messi and Iniesta and Xavi just destroying teams. And now they're a mess, and people laugh at them because of
financially, especially they're a mess. And that also ties in with Juventus, the biggest fucking giants in Italy.
Match
and
fixing.
They fell off the face of a cliff. Like fucking scandals and all this kind of nonsense. But you see what's happened with Bayern Munich. PSG still haven't won a Champions League. After spending fucking God knows how much money. That is a prime example there that you don't have to spend loads of money to fucking. Do you know what I mean?
They lost a Ligue 1 title to, was it Lille who won the title?
Yeah.
Who have got, like, I think, 1/8 of their budget.
Yeah.
It's just like, there you go. They beat you to a league title, which is not, it's not like a cup run where you can get lucky. Over 30 odd games, they beat you. with an 8-figure budget. So spending money doesn't account success. Like, it doesn't.
I think INEOS need to be careful in this situation.
Yep.
And I hope they get it right. Right, let's go to the comment section again. John Nahomany says it'd be great if United, absolutely yes, I know, total surprise, hammered City to then sack him. That's a great point, actually, that I've not even mentioned. What happens if we win the FA Cup final, we get into the Europa League?
Well, it says on the... who was it? I can't remember which journalist it was. It might have been Jacob Steinberg. He said, a well-placed source, so take it however you want, that even if he wins the FA Cup, it doesn't mean he keeps his job. So I think regardless if this is true, win or lose, he goes.
But you think the pressure from the fan base, like, imagine the feeling of beating City in a final and getting into Europe, I think it'd quickly turn. The gears would shift very quickly.
But that's... Again, like, I don't want Ten Hag to go, but that's really shit thinking then for INEOS if they're able to just turn around on a dime. Like, if you make a decision, stick with it and go with it.
Yep.
Like, and just think that if you're going,
it's gonna be tougher though, isn't it?
Yeah, if you're going, oh, we might sack him, let's see what happens to the thing. That's shite as well. Make a decision, back him or sack him. Don't be like, we're gonna sack him. He always won the FA Cup. Maybe we keep him, because you saw what happened with Xavi at Barca. It's like, oh no, I'm leaving. He's staying, and then he says something in a press conference. Right, he's fucking gone. You just look stupid. You look like idiots, and INEOS are going to cost themselves. If they do that, they're going to look like idiots, and you already then lose the faith of the fan base. So it's just, I think it's a stupid decision. I don't want him to be sacked, but if you pick a decision, stick with it, please.
We're trying to move away from the reactionary bullshit that we've had for 10 years, trying to become a proactive club. So doing that, I think you're absolutely spot on. I had the Wolf of Wall Street scene in my head then. He goes, I'm not fucking leaving.
I'm not fucking leaving.
I'm not fucking leaving. I'm staying. Which could happen if we win the FA Cup, but who knows. Ray and says, we saw how well we played last season. It just seemed logical to give him one more go at it with a full squad. I'm not opposed to that. I was easy either side, but maybe he deserved a chance under this. I don't know. John,
you can see the argument from both sides, can't you? Like, both sides of the argument is legit. Like, I can see both sides.
Hughes, after 50 games, had the same record as Mancini after 50 games. Again, Hughes deserved the time. It's a fair point. Prabhav Kwandali's in the chat, who is a Real Red Ultra member. If you want to become a member, click the join button next to the notification bell for exclusive content and early access and a badge next to your name. He's saying this is so heartbreaking. Obviously not happy about this Ten Hag situation. Brian is also in the chat, who's a member, saying, wonder could Ralph come back in to do the job he was originally hired for if Ten Hag leaves? Rayanator, common denominator with the manager cycle. The players, INEOS, are no better than the Glazers if they do not put an axe through this squad. Absolutely agree with that. Charlie Malman saying football is a result-driven business. We just had our worst season. Ten Hag needed to go, but there is context to it. There is context to it. You know, look at any team this season or previous seasons. Liverpool, when they had that injury crisis and he was wearing shirts with Van Dijk and stuff, didn't have no way near the amount of injuries that we've had this season, and they dropped right down the table.
Chelsea had their horrible season this season up until recently, and they were like 14th or something at some point. Because they had Nkunku out, they had loads of people out, and then when they got players back, oh look, they've rocketed up the table because he's got his players back. Yeah,
it's just logic. You have Wan-Bissaka at left back and Johnny Evans
Amrabat at left back. Amrabat at left back.
It's going to affect your fucking team, innit? That's just like logic, man. Tiger UK is in the chat. I've not noticed that name before. If you are new, please do hit that subscribe button. Saying it's the right decision, but the timing of this leak is shambolic. That's the thing that annoys me.
I agree with that bit. Yeah. I agree with that.
The timing is fucking horrendous. Right before this game. I mean, INEOS will be pissed off about that, no doubt. But yeah, we do have an FA Cup final to look forward to in that sense. And we have got a preview coming up at 7:30, I believe. Me, Sam, Adam, and Aaron, is it?
Yes.
On the preview?
Yep.
Yeah, so 4 of us will be reviewing that. We'll also ask Adam and Aaron for their opinion on this whole kind of shambolic situation that's going on with the management, and ask them for a manager as well who they would like to bring in if that does happen. And we'll cover the full game, every nut and cranny of this game we're going to cover, so don't worry about that. Make sure you tune in and get your opinions in the comment section. Grace is in the chat saying, if McKenna comes in, I expect a style of play from day one and top 4 minimum, otherwise he should be sacked. Setting the standards. Setting the fucking standards, Grace. I love that. And Tiger, I'm a sub already. Great show. Thank you very much. Should be a quick review.
Brian. Yeah. If we get battered, Brian, it's going to be about 30 seconds. It's going to be like, we're
welcome
shit.
to the thing. Ten Hag's fucked off. We're shit. We've lost. See you in a bit.
In a bit.
I think the next, just to kind of finish things off, Sam, the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks in United is going to be mega in it with everything kind of on the table at the moment. Yeah,
it's going to be non-stop. We are going to be live so many times, I imagine. Yeah.
Plus transfer news on top of it.
Transfer news on top of that. Like, it's going to be chaos at United. And yeah, it's never quiet for United, is it? Never fucking quiet. But
there is always something to talk about, whether it's fucking chicken that's raw, the roof leaking, transfer news, management news. It is so busy.
Players getting arrested. Just fucking, it's non-stop. Can we just please, like, for about 6 months next season, can we just win a bunch of games really comfortably, have no drama, no roof leaking, like, we fix the roof, no one getting poisoned by chicken, just have like a really boring 6 months? It'd be fucking great. Right, just you sit there and go, yeah, we won a game, talk about tactics, talk about play, like, it'd be fantastic.
Well we played,
it'd be so good.
So good. What that feels like, to be honest with you.
It's been a year.
Because I feel like the second half of the season that's just gone, after every single game, we was like, I don't know who's going to be fit. I don't know who's going to play there. That performance was shocking. Why are we conceding so many shots? Why are we conceding so many goals?
Why is the manager saying stupid shit in press conferences?
Why is he just saying we played really well? And I don't get it. I really don't understand it. But that is the life of supporting Manchester United. Well, we're here for it, like Brian says. We're all here for it. Anyway, we'll leave it at that. Please do leave a like on the video if you're also baffled by this nonsense. Subscribe to the channel and make sure you come and join us for the preview later on in about 2 hours' time. I think it is exactly.
Half seven.
It'd be great to see us. Yeah, it'd be great to see us in the chat, and any kind of questions you have on management, etc. We'll definitely get into. So't we'll leave it at that. Thank you to Sam, and thank you to you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.
In a bit.